everyone, it's Kendall here. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up, home skillet biscuit? So I've been quite the user of the community tab in the last month or so on YouTube. I don't know, I feel like it doesn't get its proper credit. It's actually pretty helpful in trying to figure out what you guys want to watch. I was so surprised and flattered that so many people just wanted to get ready with me, which, you know, there's something so bare bones about a get ready with me. It's like me just talking. So it's kind of cool that you guys are just curious what you're thinking about, what you're up to, and I appreciate that. But before we get started, we do need to shout out our sponsor for today's video. Shout outs to Audible, who's been a pretty consistent supporter of the channel over the last few months. Gotta say, big thank you. Thank you for believing in the channel and keeping the lights on. Audible is home to like a cornucopia and a half, honestly, of audiobooks. And also they have Audible Originals, which are just, they're that good stuff, man. I've listened to quite a few. They're really... Audible Originals are exclusive audio titles created and performed by some of the best storytellers in the world. For literature to audio documentaries, journalism, you can fall in deep into Audible Originals. It's a great time, trust me. And for my subscribers, if you want to get a 30-day free trial, you can go to audible.com/Kennie for a free audiobook as well as 2 Audible Originals, or you can text Kennie to 500-500. So in this video, I'm going to talk a bit about how I've been super obsessed with Bailey Sarian, just in general, but her like murder mystery makeup Mondays. And one story in particular, and I'll probably talk about it later in this Get Ready With Me, that left me shook. She got me super interested in Ed Gein. As much as I watch murder mysteries and true crime stuff, you'd think I've heard of him? Weird. And so I knew if I could find an audiobook about Ed Gein then I will be listening to it in the near future. And I found one, of course, on Audible called Deviant, the shocking true story of Ed Gein, the original psycho. If you don't know who Ed Gein is, he's a murderer and a grave robber whose activities inspired Silence of the Lamb, Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And so I was like, oh, I need more of this. I shouldn't feel this. So that's definitely on my to-do. Actually, after I'm done filming and editing this video, going straight to that just sounds interesting. But yeah, if you would like to check out that audiobook or any of the other audiobooks that are available on Audible, again, be sure to get your 30-day free trial at audible.com/Kennie or text Kennie to 500-500. So thanks again to Audible for sponsoring today's video. You guys are great and you keep the channel rolling. Now I guess it's time to zoom into my face and make sure that I'm not just a walking, talking eyebrow. So let's go. So like I just said, I've been watching a lot of Bailey Sarian. If you don't know who she is, she's a makeup beauty person here on the interwebs. And she has a series that goes on every Monday called Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday. I'm a big true crime watcher, so I'm really surprised that I think I've heard of her channel a while ago. If I'm not mistaken, really early in the year, I kind of talked about the Gypsy Blanchard case in a Get Ready With Me, like really early in the year, because I went through a whole like rabbit hole with that. And then I've talked about other like little murder cases throughout like random Get Ready With Me's, and people will be like, you really need to check out Bailey Sarian. I think you would enjoy her content. And I was like, yeah, I need to get around to that. I think RawBeautyKristi was talking about her too, who I love, by the way. I love RawBeautyKristi as well. I feel like we're very similar people. And she was like, yeah, there's this lady that does like murder mysteries and makeup videos, and it's just great. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to get around to that. 6 months later, I finally get around to watching her videos, and I'm just like, oh, this was made for me. First of all, the stories, a lot of them I've never even heard of, which is, again, sad considering, is it sad? Do I need this information? Like, considering I consider myself quite the true crime enthusiast, you know? And I find it interesting that I've never heard of this. I started watching her, but then the thing that also inspired me is that she is somehow able to do her makeup intricately, not just do her makeup at all. Because I can do it kind of, but like doing like a look and talk at the same time and remember like where you were going with stuff. I assume she writes a script because I feel like it's humanly impossible to do videos like that purely off of memory, but still, like, come on. And her looks are always like, ooh, I did not expect that, but I like it. So it has me over here like playing around. Also, it doesn't help that while watching those videos, she'll use a product or two that'll be like so distracting to me that I'm like, okay, so I have to buy that. I can't just not buy that. I need to work on I have a really messed up sense of humor, and I knew that anyway, but some of these things that I be laughing at should not make me laugh, and it's not like I'm happy about it. When I'm like surprised and disturbed and confused, my knee-jerk reaction as a panic response is to laugh, and I should not laugh as often as I do while watching those videos. But some of them are so like that I can't just not laugh. Some of them are truly disturbing. Like there's nothing, I mean, they're all truly disturbing. They're all like murder mysteries, but you know what I mean? Like they're murder true crime cases. But some of them are like, ugh, like it hits too hard. You know, it's like so bad that you can't really physically watch it all the way through. But some of them are just so like dubious that I'm just sitting there like, is this an SNL sketch? Is this Key and Peele? Particularly anyone that has to do with a cannibal. My favorite. Because it's just like, I'm sorry, it's not funny. Any of the ones that have to do with the cannibal, it's just like that lead up is crazy. Because it's like, how did we get here? I think I want to eat Brian. Brian looks like he would taste good on toast. Like stuff like that is just fascinating to me. I do have some personal favorites, so if you want to check out those videos, I can link them below. One, of course, is our Ed Gein. I don't think he was a cannibal. It's not funny. Oh god. It's not funny. He was a grave robber and a murderer. Take people's skin and body parts and turn them into household items. Being like, okay, yeah, he a little weird, he a little crazy, but you don't expect him to literally make a lamp out of someone's face. He was real thrifty. He was real creative. He made a whole body suit out of people. He had a case full of noses. He made a belt out of nothing but nipples. Like, wait, hold up. He just took DIY to a whole nother level, and I didn't laugh because it was funny. I laughed because like, huh? Like what? It doesn't help also that Bailey Sarian has the same problem that I have and just laughing at incredibly inappropriate times. Like, so I'm sitting there like, oh my god. But then she'll laugh too, so I feel better. I'm like, okay, I'm not as bad of a person as I thought. But like I said, the cannibals are particularly interesting too. The Cannibal Cafe episode, it's about a dude who like went on the internet in the 90s, and there were several chat rooms for cannibals, people that wanted to be cannibals, people that had cannibal fantasies. And he went on there and he said, yo, who wants to be eaten? I'm looking for a person to volunteer to be eaten. He found somebody. Well, they cut off a body part. I don't want to ruin the story for you. And they both ate it. And long story short, he killed him and ate him over the course of several months. And the guy like didn't get much jail time at first, which I understand how that can cause outrage. But at the same time, if you volunteer to be eaten, is it a crime? Is it when the kink just goes a little too far? I don't know. I mean, he was consenting, and he didn't do this to anyone that wasn't consenting. He wanted a consensual person to get eaten. So I don't know. Was this a crime? I feel like that's quite the moral question there. I don't know. Is it a crime that I want to eat you and I want you to eat me too? So yeah, Bailey's videos have been very inspiring outside of the murder part. I don't know, I'll watch her videos and be like, ooh, I would have never thought to put those colors together. Now I want to go do something. Which I guess this kind of leads me to another thing I wanted to talk about. I have been in a very like artistic mood recently, and I think it's been very apparent over the last few videos, particularly the last one. People have noticed that I've just seemed, I guess, happier in the last few videos, and that's because I was happier in the last few that's because I've been happier in the last few videos. I've kind of talked about this briefly on here, but certainly more so on Twitter, because I spew my every thought on Twitter like most of us. Not most of us, like I do. I don't know, on and off for the last few months, I've just been feeling very irritable, agitated, stuck, I think is the right word. Feeling like I'm not progressing, not feeling stimulated or like I was progressing in any way. That really, really puts a damper on my mood. Like, how should I put this? I think I've talked about this before, but I'm a person that needs to feel like I'm working towards something, and something very specific. I need to be stimulated through that. It's not even so much about achieving the goal, because most of the time I don't value the things that I do anyway, which is a whole other issue that I'm working through. I'm a person that needs to do things. I call it kind of like an addiction to progress, whether it be through a skill, whether it be through an art form, going to a new place, experiencing something new. Like, I'm a person that needs that, or I will literally go insane. I think it was pretty obvious I was starting to get in a bad headspace because I noticed myself paying attention to YouTube in a way that I had not really done ever, if I recall correctly. Like, I've always, just put up videos, looked at the comments. That's my favorite part, honestly, is the communication part of YouTube. Views are nice, and like, of course they're important because they are my money. As far as like caring about numbers and stuff like that, viewers, subscribers, stuff like that, wasn't really something I paid a whole lot of attention to. I would pay attention, but it wasn't something that really occupied my mind. But I don't know, I think it was just because I had nothing else to focus on. I had nothing else to do that I started to get really overly obsessively checking, feeling very vulnerable if things weren't moving quickly enough, or if things weren't moving at all, if my mood was being very thoroughly affected by it in a way that it never had before. I found myself becoming a person that couldn't be happy for other people, envious of people on like Instagram and YouTube, which is something I never felt before. And that's when I knew something was weird, because I don't care. I genuinely don't, because like I feel like that's somebody else's path, that's somebody else's path, my path is my own. But I noticed, because I felt like I wasn't even going on my own path, so now I'm looking, well, how are people going on theirs? Told myself, okay, this is not helping you in any way. This isn't doing anything for you at all, emotionally, career-wise, So if you need to, unsubscribe from everybody. Even if they haven't done anything wrong, just unsubscribe. Like, you need to like break away and recenter in a way that's very particular to you as a creator, as a creative, as a human being. Unsubscribe. So I unsubscribed from hella people. During this time, I watched a lot of my girl, Cydnee Black, has talked quite openly about just the feelings of being an influencer sometimes, and kind of that comparison thing that can really dampen your ability to enjoy your work and to be the most effective at your work. She's talked about that quite a lot in her Makeup and Mindset series. So again, highly recommend. I'm shouting out a lot of YouTubers today. That series was really grounding for me, because I was like, yeah, you get it. Yeah. And ultimately I decided to just take a week off. I took a week off. I don't think anyone really noticed. It was funny because like I felt that I was taking a week off. You get very used to a certain pattern of filming and uploading that you feel like you're doing something wrong if you're not filming and uploading. I didn't really say much about it to anybody but like people personally in my life, and it was funny because a week felt like such a long time. After the week passed, I'm like, okay guys, I'm gonna film again. I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm filming again. And she was like, weren't you supposed to be taking a week off? I was like, I did. Like, literally nobody else realized it had been a week. And I was like, wow, time moves so fast for everyone else. What's that all about? Whereas like sometimes when you do this job, you kind of feel like you're never moving fast enough. And that week was super grounding for me. During that time, I really like sat down with myself and said, what would help me do my job better? Because I'm not enjoying what I'm making as much as I used to enjoy what I'm making, right? And that's no one's fault but my own. I sat down, thought of a bunch of ideas, and then I said, okay, make a schedule. Well, at least not today, but usually I upload on Tuesdays and Saturdays. It's because I'm a person that really thrives off of structure. Like, structure is not a luxury for me. It's a necessity, because when there's no structure, I am constantly floating on the 8 billion possibilities of things that I could be doing. And that pressure is not a fun time, let me tell you. Whereas now, because I film pretty cyclically, I can upload, and once the upload is up, it's up. And then we can spin that you know, mental real estate, so to speak, on other things that are also fulfilling, you know? Whereas before I would just be constantly thinking about, oh, I gotta make a video, and I would think about it, and then just end up doing a get ready with me. Not because I just had things to talk about, but because I didn't have any other ideas. Whereas now I'm doing a get ready with me because I want to talk. Also, I wanted to talk because I'm in such a good headspace now. For a while, I was in kind of a crappy mindset. I shouldn't just be allowed to just talk when I feel like crap, because I will just spew nothing but feeling like crap and negativity. And now, because I upload on a schedule, y'all know when I'm making a video generally, you know, I have all this extra time. Like, I work and then I stop work. And then when I stop work, I'm like, oh wow, all those other things that I wanted to do, I can do them. It's crazy how it's crazy how when your mind isn't constantly on one thing and you just do it instead of procrastinating, how you have all this other time to do other stuff. I'm saying this to myself. I know somebody's gonna feel very attacked by that, and you should, because just do the thing. Having this like extra mental space, so to speak, has been great for like my creativity. I thought I just wasn't creative anymore, honestly. I was like, oh, I've gotten old. I'm not cool anymore. I used to. But then, you know, we did the whole high school photos video, which really it really inspired me. I didn't want to do the video, but I'm actually really happy I did it. I was like, Kendall, that ain't going nowhere. You just ain't got the time to do it now. And it's because it is for no other reason than you don't make the time to do it anymore. Not only am I being expressive and creative, I'm also doing it in ways that I've never really done it before. I've been able to work on projects that I was never able to make time for before. My boredom is a necessity because that's where I'm most creative. Like, when I actually allow myself to be in situations where I'm bored, that's where the best things for me flourish. But the problem is I had too much to do because I procrastinated. When I get stuff done, my mind is able to wander in beautiful, wonderful places, and it's great. Like, I've been painting again, making a lot of music. Since we're talking about music, for those of you that don't know, on an existential crisis, I made a song or two and I had them on YouTube, and I took them down. And I took them down without really saying anything. I said a word or two on Twitter, but certainly nothing here on YouTube. And the amount of people that have contacted me angry, love it. Because that makes me know that you guys liked it. Like, y'all noticed that it was gone. But yeah, I took the songs down, and people were like, why? Can you put them back, please? Can you put them back, please? They will be back. How should I put this? They are being reworked for something that I hope I can come out with by October. But that entire process has been so rewarding as well, like tapping into like another way of being creative. Also coming upon this phenomenon of actually enjoying your own work. I didn't know what that was. I ain't never seen that. Being able to express myself in this particular way and actually not hating the things that I create, incredible. I ain't never seen that. I don't know her. We just met. She's lovely. I've been taking my vitamins. I've been sleeping right. I don't know if it's just because I'm not stressed anymore, but I dropped 8 pounds in a week. Cortisol levels crazy. I feel good. Definitely need to. Oh, she got all up in my weave. Oh no. Also, speaking of music, let me gush real quick because I deserve it on a whim, because that's what I've been doing everything recently. It's just been on a whim and it's been so great. Again, that boredom time is essential for me. I made a cover of Pevi Mako's Kamgi. I talked about it in like a playlist video that I did a few months ago, and I was saying even in that video I was like, I really want to do a cover of it. Speaking of those type videos, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but always ask me like, Kendall, can you do more like playlist videos because your taste in music is so good? But the thing is, no one watches those videos. Those videos also get demonetized very often and very quickly because I'm playing someone else's music in it. But with that said, follow me on Twitter for music recommendations because I'm constantly posting music rec. But anyway, I made a cover of it. Not really a cover, it was more like a duet cover, if that makes sense. Like, it's not just me singing, it's me singing with the original song. Not gonna lie, I was pretty proud of it. I was like, oh, this is kind of fire. I don't know how to mix and master, but this is still kind of fire. And he liked my posts, and I was like, oh, well, it's official, I'm a Sora. Like, oh, cool, that's cool. When the person whose song you like likes your version as well. That's great. And I posted that on my second channel that a lot of people don't even know exists. I don't blame you. I don't post on there very often, but if you want to check it out, I'll link that below. I'm linking a lot of stuff below today. But yeah, it just feels good to feel good. Especially when you've kind of nebulously been feeling bad for a long time. Like there was nothing particularly that was going on, and that was the problem. Like I can't deal with like not feeling like I'm going anywhere. It's this feeling of like the things that I'm doing don't matter, and therefore I don't matter. And then it starts this whole like existential crisis thing that happens for me. I assume that has something to do with like some golden child syndrome stuff that maybe one day will be relevant in a conversation. But like if I feel like I'm not working towards an like explicit greatness, whatever that is, not only am I a failure, but I kind of just don't exist. Like I said, I've talked about this as an existential crisis. That's where my first song happened. Yeah, it's like, it's the weirdest thing. There's pros and cons, right? Because I feel like whenever I feel like that, I create my best work. I create the work that further cements my identity, for better or for worse, I guess. Like doing this stuff isn't just like a hobby for me. It makes me happy, you know? It keeps me fulfilled and feeling as though the things that I do have a purpose. Every time I kind of get in that headspace, like doing something like creating something out of the box or writing or singing or doing things. I think people, I appreciate when people say this. People are like, wow, like you do a lot of stuff. And the reason why I do so many things is because like I get reminded if I'm not doing enough by my own self. But yes, when my little project comes out, I hope you guys enjoy it. It's been quite the experience. Yo, my under titty is sweating like nothing else, yo. Okie dokie, that's all for today, guys. I hope you had fun just hanging out with me as I just spewed what was on my mind. Big thanks again to Audible for sponsoring today's video. If you want to check them out, that'll be down in the description box. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD, and I will see you guys next time.